Action.
All right, we got our chem classifiers. Nice thing about this particular test is you get 5 in 1 off one test. So I got my pH for acids and bases. I also have acids and bases here. I got oxidizers, fluorides, hydrocarbons, and then the iodine, bromine, chlorine, everything on that side of the periodic table. I got those products as well. So this is a handy paper to have. We've got the wastewater classifiers, which throw a few more petroleum products and a couple other nitrates and nitrites in addition to what this one does. And then we got some other papers in here as we get a little bit more specialized. So for example, we got the potassium iodide paper for oxidizers. So this is for a family class of hazmat by itself. We've got ammonia paper. Bedford has got several of these freeze places with more being built, and they've got a lot of ammonia in there. So like pH works the same way, but specifically for ammonia. And this will give us a pH, or not a pH, but a ppm reading, which pH paper will not give. So we have that, our M8 and M9 for nerve agents, and that pretty much takes care of our papers. So the nice thing about grabbing this kit is, again, we make those sticks up, we get that ready, because we can take that in on any hazmat call we want. Can't really make a mistake with that. It's either a positive hit or not a negative hit, and then we just move on to the next category. So that's what that person inside is going to do, as well as start grabbing things like this so we can get people outside set up and get ready to go. As we start to address the paper side of it and we get that set up, the next monitoring step will be the electronics. So this cabinet and the cabinet next door pretty much hold our electronics, and we're set up with addition to the monitors that you guys already have. We're set up with a lot of other options for monitoring as well. So whether it's a single gas deal for chlorine or ammonia, we've got that. Whether it's just putting in additional 4 gas monitors for the basic 4, we can assist with that. If we're looking at possible radiation, we have multiple types of radiation detectors. We have a PID, which is meant more so for the hydrocarbon family organics, which offers us a little bit different reading than what a standard 4 gas gets. And then we have some specialized instruments as we go kind of above and beyond those categories, including Draeger tubes and Freon detectors and some other items. So we've got a lot of extra instrumentation that we'll bring, that we have people trained to use, and can kind of help, again, keep this process moving and get more answers as we're going down the path of this incident. So in addition to the electronic monitoring, remember that we are the home for the MABUS issued wireless system. So we have the area arrays. These are 5 gas monitors that are wireless, that are set to be deployed in a 360-degree situation, pretty much. We have this set ready to go. So I mean, if there's ever a situation where you think larger scale, we want to get more area monitored, we've got a system available to us right away that we can deploy to try to get some of those answers that might make our life a little easier as far as the individual monitors go. And then we can get a little bit more fancy with some of the other types of incidents that we may get. The Hazmat ID Elite in here, which is more for identification, covers a whole gambit of different products. WMD agents, checking things for potential biological, protein checks, and so on. We have all that stuff available over here. And again, that's more technician related, both monitoring and testing, if you will, quick field tests to try to get some better answers of what we might be dealing with, especially if it's an unknown. And we need to do more and more types of monitoring to try to get closer to figuring out what that unknown may be. While we're up in this area, it's not monitoring equipment, but the flashlights, the radios, the hearing system, CAVCOM, spotting scopes, everything else that we'll need to set people up once we dress them is up in this area. So as we start to set those areas up, as we start to plug people into positions, as we're getting ready to start dressing people, doing all those things, here's where all the equipment's going to be that we're going to start setting up and getting deployed as quickly as we can out to get those people ready to go in. That's kind of what's up in this area. As we go further to the back, here's where the rest of our PPE and our air packs are that we talked about earlier. So as we turn around, you can see our MSA 1 hour bottle setups are all right here. So in theory, 2 teams, entry and a backup. And then on the back wall will be our PPE choice, different types of protections. Again, we've got level B, we've got level A, we've got the MT94 suits, and of course we all have our structural gear. So we have many options about, you know, what we might possibly be wearing. And then there's going to be, you know, Roberts Park coming with more. There's going to be other things that are going to be coming even in addition to what we have. So you know, this will be the point where we decide, okay, this is what we're going to be pulling off, this is what they're going to wear, and we just start plugging in those different types of equipment. So that kind of covers what's on the inside of the squad, and again, the positions that we're going to take and what we're going to be able to provide. As we start to progress down our list of priorities, you know, we've done the identification, notification. Very important, you know, we have the ability to notify. We've got a whole lot of contacts on here, so to make calls to the Illinois EMA or EPA or MWRD or state police or the Coast Guard or whatever we need to do, we've got all that ability on here. We've got computers, we've got fax machines, we've got printers, we've got phone capability, internet capability. So we can make all those notifications right from here. We can work directly with command. We'll probably be doing that in conjunction with command because they might also have a command vehicle out on the incident. We can work with them and get all of those issues addressed. We have that ability in here to do all of that through that notification process. Mitigate, you know, we've kind of covered a lot of that already with the tools that we have on here. So as we make our mitigation choices, there's not too much on here that we're not, you know, set and ready to go on. Again, once we do our science and figure out what we're going to do or how far our mitigation is going to go, you know, we can direct people and organize the equipment that's going to be necessary to make that happen. And then lastly, terminate. So when we're ready to actually, you know, pull the incident, plug on the incident and say, okay, you know, it's time to turn it back over, you know, we'll work in conjunction with incident command and you know, help with that process when things are getting ready to slow down. So it's kind of a one-stop shop. There's a lot we can do on it, a lot of equipment on here. We will help everyone out with getting that organized and making sure all the equipment goes to the proper people, you know, the right way, and it all gets returned so we can account for everything. And you know, hopefully that resolves our incident. So this is going to kind of be the first training that we're doing here, and probably a series of video trainings that we're thinking about doing as the year progresses, especially with circumstances the way they are now. So if you have any general questions on the Hazmat Squad or if there's something you want to cover in the future, you can let us know. But we're going to be doing some more training like this coming up where we get a little bit more familiar with the equipment that's across the division, so everyone knows what we've got, where it's at, what it can do, and you know how it can help us in a real situation. So, thank you for your time. Hope everyone's doing well, and we'll see you next month in June.